Hi everyone, welcome back to the Pot Smoker's Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of the Pot Smoker's Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion, which gives me my name and authority. I wrote it from the King James Version of the Bible, using the lines and precepts of the Old Testament prophets to piece together the prophecy of Israel, which is the year 2020. The year 2020 is God's judgment on mankind. Every event in this year judges man, and that judgment is almost done. If I'm correct, if I am the Zion of the Most High God of Israel, then by this end of this year, or at least by January 20th, we will have had a bloodbath of a coup. And there are two scenarios that can play out here. There are only two. Okay, there's three. Let's say there's three. Okay, there are three scenarios that could play out here. Trump could could secede, and we have a peaceful transfer of power. Trump could have a coup, and it could succeed, and he could be our next great and only leader for the foreseeable future, unless we stand up and do something about it. Or C, um, Biden could succeed in quelching the failed coup, and he could go on as president of the United States. Now, all three of these scenarios are possible. One of them will play out. Where does that leave Black Lives Matter? I'd like to ask you. Because just yesterday, or just recently, in Florida, two teenage boys were shot down as they were trying to drive away from a policeman. They were trying to drive away from a policeman, and the policeman shot and killed them, both, numerous times. Now, if Donald Trump wins, that will be the normal. Black lives will never matter to Trump and his people. They hate black lives. They will destroy the blacks. They will put their sights on the browns, and then they will go to the yellows and the reds, and then they will end with the poor white trash like me. Now, if Biden is put into the White House and becomes the next president of the United States, then we have business as usual. Is that what we want? Because you see, business as usual just saw the deaths of two teenage boys who were doing nothing more than borrowing the girlfriend's car. Business as usual is George Floyd's death ending by having his face ground into the cement. Breonna Taylor sleeping soundly in her bed, being woken up to gunfire as she dies at police hands because they mistook her current situation for something that had happened 6 months ago. That is business as usual, my friends. Is that what you want? Business as usual? Oh, now don't get me wrong. They're going to dress it up just a little bit to placate you. And that's all it's ever going to be, is to placate you. To make you say, okay, you tried. So we'll live with this because it's better than what we had. And that would be to pass laws, no more chokeholds. Well, George Floyd wasn't killed in a chokehold. Neither was Breonna Taylor. Neither were these two kids. Yes, people have died in chokeholds. Several. And that's a good thing. We need to get rid of them. But we need to get rid of guns, and we need to get rid of police chases, and we need to get rid of police thinking that they can kill us at the drop of a fucking hat because it's their right. Business as usual. So, we need to change the police. And that Biden will never do. So, business as usual. Black lives don't matter. Oh, they matter on the surface. Let's put a couple black people in my administration. Let's make a couple of laws that make it look like we're trying our damnedest to make a difference. And then business as usual. The police still are watching our every move for us to violate their more and more compoundedly difficult and obscure laws that they keep passing because their job is to pass laws. So they keep making laws and laws and laws and laws and laws that deprive us of more and more and more of what we need. And they're lining their pockets at the expense of the American people. What are we going to do about that? Because that is not any more acceptable than Trump. It's the lesser of two evils. That's all it is. That's all it ever was. That's all it ever will be. So, what are we going to do about it? What's the problem? That's the first thing. What is the problem about police brutality? How do we stop police brutality? Well, we stop allowing them to make laws without discretion that are designed to create criminals out of perfectly normal citizens like me. I went to prison for 2 years. Why? Because I ran a temple dedicated to the gray, using marijuana to communicate with the gray. Now, let's not get into my whole religious thing, okay? Because that's beside this point. I'm supposed to have the right to follow my religious beliefs. But that's exactly what I did. And it ended me in prison. Why? Because I believe in marijuana. I believe in the people who use marijuana. I believe in drug users. I believe that there is a justifiable reason for every drug user on the planet. And I believe that we all have the right to exist and to do drugs if that is our choice because we're Americans, we have free will. And any government tells me that I can't have a good time with my own income at my own expense when I give no harm to any other person can go fuck themselves. Now, I couldn't vote because I'm a felon and I haven't gone my mandatory however many years it is in the state of Nebraska. And besides, it's like Joe Biden, go, go, Joe, the lesser of two evils. Well, the lesser of two evils is still evil. And I believe that by the 420, the whole United States of America and every drug user in America is going to know the truth. Every black man, every brown man, every yellow man, every red man, every poor white man. We're all going to know the truth. Business as usual. Work your fingers to the bone, give all your money to the 1%, and watch them take more and more of our rights away from us. That is the choice that they give us. Well, I'm going to give you guys another choice, okay? If you don't want business as usual, if you don't want police brutality being allowed in your nation, well, it's time to follow the Bill of Rights, my friends. Because the Bill of Rights says that when they take away our right to pursuit of happiness, self-determination, and the right to privacy, we are obligated as patriotic American citizens to overthrow the government. So let's let Trump and Biden fight it out. Reduces the number of our enemies. Let them fight it out, and we'll deal with whoever wins. Because it doesn't matter who wins. I have a plan. Let's go camping. Let's go out to where the sand meets the land in the western state of Nebraska, where there's nothing but nothing. Lakes and prairie grass. Good earth and sand. And an aquifer with water. If we take seeds and tents and regular garden tools We can go out into the plains, set up our tents, quarantine, get rid of COVID-19, use basic time-honored techniques to build ourselves shelters and dig ourselves bunkers for the winter or for tornadoes, whichever you choose. We can plant food and grow gardens and feed ourselves. We can hunt the wild game and fish and take some cows and stuff with us if we got them. Farmers want to come join us. We can take livestock and we can start over there. We can go on strike. If we're going to work to survive, why don't we do it for ourselves instead of for the wealthy? We have the hands. We have the skills. We are the ones that do the actual labor in this country. And if we just decide to work for ourselves instead of to work for the money mongers in Washington and Wall Street, what can they do? Nothing. Because they don't have the means to do it. We're the means. We're the power base. Money is just a facade. Without money, they're okay. Without money, they're nothing. Without money, it's like out in western Nebraska where the sand meets the land. Every single thing we need to create a new society is right there. We can take the prairie grass and the dirt and the water from the aquifer and the lakes, and we can make mud bricks. We can fire those and make kilns. We can use that to use the sand to make glass and silicone. We can take ceiling fans and turn them into power generators. We can dig a hole deep enough to keep our food refrigerated enough to keep it cold, grow a garden to sustain ourselves unforeseeably, and we can outlast them. Because if we're going to be great out there because we're going to have our pot, we're going to have our drugs, we're going to have our alcohol, we're going to have our food, we're going to have our each other. And we're going to create a new society that doesn't use money. It uses labor, it uses skills, it uses talents, and it uses freedom of choice and mutual cooperation to create anew everything from scratch. We're going to Minecraft it. We can go camping and we can create a whole new nation. A nation created around the concept of freedom and justice for all, where the only question you won't be asked when you come to Zion is, what color's your skin? Because there's only one color, and that's red. That's your blood. So if you bleed red, come to me in York, Nebraska in the spring on 420. And we will go out west and show the United States of America just what a bunch of drugged out fucking hippies can do with no money. We can not only change the world, but if we hold a solemn assembly and we pray telepathically to the gray aliens as gray aliens, and we ask them to come and be our friends and help us to free ourselves from our oppressors, they promise to do that. So we can either go back to business as usual, or we can go camping and change the world, or at least change our lives. So, may the Grey watch over you, guide you, protect you, and keep you from all harm, and may they teach you right from wrong. May you be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light, the unicorn way. Find your joy and pursue it. Make that your guild choice, your career. Come join me in Zion. Stay happy and high if you use drugs because you have every right and reason to. Believe me, I know. I wrote the book. And I'm going to say later now because I love you all way too much to ever say goodbye.